will go. It's all to do with motoring and getting value for money. Now, some motorists seem to have a one-track mind when it comes to motoring costs. All they can think of is miles per gallon. Well, of course, fuel consumption is important, but that's just part of the story. This is Vauxhall's 700-acre proving ground in Bedfordshire. Here, under carefully controlled conditions, every part of the car likely to affect fuel consumption is tested. Gear ratios, back axle ratios, the distributor, tyre sizes, sparking plugs. Measuring fuel consumption is a highly scientific business here. They can measure how much fuel is being used over a certain distance to within 5 cc's. And in case you don't know how accurate that is, there are 4,546 cc's to a gallon. This is part of Vauxhall's exhaust emission laboratory. This is one of the most advanced laboratories of its kind in Europe. Here they test exhaust emissions to make sure every car meets the law's stringent new requirements on pollution. You may be wondering what pollution has got to do with economy. Well, let's take the choke. When you pull that out, you're feeding a richer mixture to the engine. So if you can find ways of using the choke less, you'll achieve two things: cleaner air, and you'll also save fuel. Now, Vauxhall engineers went to work on this. I'd like to show you one of their ingenious developments. It's a cold morning, so you've used the choke to start the car. Now, the first part to warm up is the exhaust system. So they put a metal shroud round the exhaust manifold here. The warm air is collected and comes along this hose to the air cleaner here. And inside there's a valve mechanism operated by a temperature sensor. This automatically stops the cold air from being drawn in from outside and uses the heated air instead. And this means quicker warm-up time, less choke, less fuel consumption, and so greater engine efficiency. Every new Vauxhall 1800 and 2300 engine is fitted with this heated air intake system. Oh, and here's another thing. This fan, it has what is known as a viscous coupling. This means that you can increase the engine revs without taking the revs of the fan up beyond its useful speed. So at higher speeds, you do not waste any fuel on driving the fan unnecessarily. I suppose you'd expect this on more expensive cars. It's on every new Vauxhall. The economy of the Viva 1256 has been acclaimed by the press up and down the country. Using independent fuel consumption tests, the results have been pretty impressive for a car that seats 5 comfortably. Here's another of that breed, the 2300 VX490. As they say at Vauxhall, economy doesn't necessarily mean small cars. Economy should mean good value for the motorist and not skimping by the manufacturer. And remember, every part of the car counts. Thicker gauges of metal for extra endurance, the extensive use of aluminized steel in the exhaust system, and paintwork that should look good for years. And with acrylic finish, you even economize on human energy. It never needs polishing. You want a car that will last. There's no point in saving a bit on petrol and then spending a fortune on repairs. And you want a good resale price when it comes to getting yourself a new model. Oh, and let's not forget these. Some spares for an imported car can cost over 10 times as much as those for an equivalent British car. And of course the price of spares affects the cost of insurance. That's another item on the motoring bill. So now you see why I say that economy is more than just a matter of miles per gallon. At Vauxhall, they care about giving value all round. Now, somebody once said that the greatest fuel-saving factor in a car is the nut holding the steering wheel. And that doesn't just apply to Jim, our demonstrator here. It applies to you and me. Jim obviously doesn't care about economy, does he? He's literally burning money. Fast starting can use up to 60% more fuel than if you move off slowly and gently. Don't use brakes unnecessarily. Remember, it took fuel to get up speed in the first place. Get into top gear as soon as possible. Using low gears when you don't need to can waste 50% more fuel. Cruise at a nice, comfortable speed. And treat that accelerator gently. Caress it, and it'll reward you with lower fuel bills. And another thing, to drive well, you need to be comfortable. Comfortable seats for a start, reclining seats that can be adjusted to suit the driver, controls that are easy to find, and instruments that are easy to see, and a quiet engine. And then, nicely relaxed, you can drive that much better and save yourself money at the same time. So that's two of you helping to win the economy battle. Vauxhall, who made the car, and you, the driver. But there is a third factor to be taken into consideration. Good design and careful driving won't do the trick unless the car is regularly maintained to a high standard. That's where the network of Vauxhall dealers comes into the picture. Economy is built into the Euro service maintenance plan. Take a look at this list. There are 59 items on this service worksheet. 18 of them have a direct bearing on economy, all adding up to real value for the motorist. It means care all round. Care by the maker, by the motorist, and by the service engineer. All three putting care into one car. So you see, 3 into 1 will go. I told you so.